Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And we just got back from the Speed Force to give you a review and recap of The Flash, Episode 6, Shade. And if you haven't seen tonight's episode, there will be spoilers, so you might want to come back later if you haven't watched it. Episode starts with Wally dreaming about being Kid Flash, and Joe West is very concerned about these dreams. Julian and Barry try to work together, but Julian, he doesn't want to share his toys, especially his CSI toys, and he tells Barry to go away. But Barry's assigned to him anyway to be a full metahuman analysis, full time. Cecilia and Joe have a short moment, and then Joe finally tells Barry about Wally's dreams. All right, so we've been waiting for this 6 episodes, okay?
Yes.
Wally West, dreaming about being Kid Flash, something we saw in episode 1 of this season. We're leaning towards the Kid Flash track. What did you think about this a little bit? Our timeline is finally going to look like the Flashpoint timeline.
I'm actually really impressed that they managed to keep it going this long.
You thought it was going to be sooner.
Man, I thought the second Wally West showed up, he was going to be a speedster in 3 episodes. That's the way it tends to go.
Oh, so you thought last season?
Oh, yeah. I thought he was going to be Kid Flash easy by the end of last season. I'm like genuinely impressed with the storytelling and the caliber of writing here that we've dragged it out this long.
It's been about a year. It was somewhere around this time that Wally West first showed up.
But I think that since we saw it in Flashpoint, it's been like a drag. Like, you just want him to ascend and be Kid Flash because you know that he's going to be Kid Flash the whole time. Then the costume looks surprisingly amazing, even the dumb little headpiece. I really liked getting to see him as the hero in the first dream. I like the idea that talking to or receiving messages from the Flashpoint universe is killing him, although it did get cheesy later on in the episode.
Yes.
But anything that is going to push further towards Wally as the Flash. I'm a 90s kid. Wally's my bro, so I'm all about it.
It becomes his destiny.
It does.
That's all you need to say about it. Yeah. It's his destiny. We then stumble onto a scene where H.R. Wells thinks that the Star Labs crew should reopen Star Labs except as a museum. And then Cisco gets a very funny line about how H.R. is probably missing crayons in the box, or everybody from Earth 19 is missing crayons from the box. All right, let's talk about this. As soon as this scene happened, I immediately was like, this is how we get the Flash Museum.
That's verbatim what you said.
Yep. I was like, okay, so HR, I think this is going to be season long. I don't think we get the Flash Museum till the end of the season, but I think HR is going to be like, okay, let's make the museum, because HR has a smart point. It's something that I've been saying for the past year, when every time they would bring like sort of an ally or sort of an enemy into the lab, and people just walk into the lab all the time. The General Clancy Brown did it a couple times. How does everybody not just figure out, oh, so Cisco remote, Barry Allen's a Flash?
Yeah.
So I think this is a smart idea. I'm curious to see what kind of museum HR will make before they're just like, no, let's make it the Flash.
Now, do you think that the whole facility is going to become a museum and they're going to be working underneath it, or is it going to be there in conjunction with the face of Star Labs?
I think you nailed it. I think it's going to be like the top level, and then they'll be underneath it.
It'll be like the club in season 1 of Arrow.
Yes, and then you wait. Iris will become
the curator
of
the museum.
It. Yep.
That's a great idea. I can't wait to see all the Flash statues that are going to be there.
Because that way it'll give a purpose for her to actually be in Star Labs all the time.
It's funny because she had a line where she was like, I barely do anything here. And it's like, I don't know why you're... I mean, I like having Iris around, but there's no reason for her to be in Star Labs.
She'll have plenty of dusting to do when she curates the Flash Museum.
All those helmets.
We find out that Caitlin steals a pair of Cisco's anti-metahuman cuffs, and then Barry finally tells the West about Kid Flash and the Flashpoint universe. Joe and Wally argue a little bit, and then we see the Shade kill a stockbroker. Barry and Julian have a little bit of CSI stuff to do, not the CSI in Las Vegas, the CSI Central City, and then we learn that Julian has a girlfriend. Julian says, I can't work tonight. I can't do this thing. I can't go to this movie with you, Barry, because I have a girlfriend.
No, you don't.
That's the question I wanted to ask you. Do you believe this? I don't believe this man has a girlfriend.
No, not for a damn second.
No, I believe this man has DR ALCHEMY'S to do.
I do, yeah. Like, not in a way that there are some characters where, like, I don't believe they have girlfriends. I believe they have boyfriends. I don't think Julian has anyone. He's such, like, Tom Felton does an incredible job in that role, but he's such an asshole. Like, there's no room in his life.
Let's put a baseline
for
here.
a personal relationship.
Okay, Julian Alpert, asshole.
Yes.
Tom Felton, we don't know how he is. Tom Felton comes to you, Ashley, says, hey, you want to get a drink tonight? What do you say to Tom Felton?
No.
Okay, so baseline out of the gate, you just don't date anybody that looks like Julian Alpert.
No.
Okay.
Like maybe when I was 10 and he was Draco Malfoy, I would have fallen for the juice box gag.
We don't even know if Harry Potter exists in this universe.
That's true. So. That's true. But no, no. Hard pass.
Okay. We soon then get a scene where Cisco and Caitlin can't find HR, and then HR has brought his facial transmogrification, or however you say that word, and he turned his face into Randolph Morgan, his partner from Earth 19. Barry then tells the Star Labs team about the Shade and how the Shade can vibrate so fast that he looks like a shadow. Okay, they took this villain. Now, if you've never read the series Starman, Starman's amazing series written by James Robinson, the Shade is this golden age Flash villain.
First appeared in Flash number 33 from 1961.
Look at that. Knowledge like a fox.
I got it.
All right.
I got it.
So the Shade, he's been in Justice League Unlimited as well. He's kind of always been a gentleman. He's a gentleman, a Victorian gentleman. And James Robinson expanded his origin, did this really amazing Shade miniseries after the Starman series. And you learn that he's basically been alive since like the 1860s.
I like the late 1800s, yeah.
And Josh Williamson is bringing the Shade back into the current Flash run of comic books. Now, this is the Shade as just a monster.
Yeah.
He is just nothing but a monster. And then I, for one, did not like the explanation that he's somehow connected to the Speed Force. I don't need every villain to be connected to the Speed Force as well.
To me, that was somebody saying, that's not flashy enough. Even though he is like a classic rogue. He's been around, like he fought Jay Garrick.
Yeah.
And he's in Flash at Two Worlds. Like, he's a really important staple of the Flash Rogues Gallery. And you took the fact that he can control and embody shadows, which is sort of one of the least interesting things about him, and made that the focus. I think that was a mistake. He can also travel great distances by using darkness, kind of in a similar way.
Immediately, like Mirror Master.
Yeah. So that, to me, that would have been an interesting parallel to draw between the two characters. And that chase works so well in the Mirror Master episode. Why not try to do something like that again, instead of like, we just had the giant monster, so like, let's not do another kaiju, but he's a cloud of smoke.
Well, I'm hopeful that the Shade becomes part of the new Rogues Gallery that we've kind of teased, and then I'm hopeful that he will become the Shade that we know and love in future episodes.
I hope so too, and there's also, we have seen Stargirl on Legends of Tomorrow.
Yes.
So if there's any way we could get a little crossover where she's hanging out with the Shade, I would be all about that.
That's in 2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
Check your local listings. Wally has a vision of Dr. Alchemy, and then we learn that Caitlin finally gives Cisco back his handcuffs and then shows her powers to Cisco for the very first time. Cisco then touches Caitlin, vibes her future, and sees her as Killer Frost. Him and Killer Frost are fighting each other, and then Cisco lies to Caitlin. All right, let's talk about this. She told Cisco. Cisco vibed the future. Cisco's like, you're Killer Frost. It's gonna happen. Do we think his vibe powers are 100% certain that she will become Killer Frost?
Yeah, I think it's one of those like precog things where that scene is going to happen. You might think that you can get around it some way.
Okay, so I do think that scene is going to happen. But are we seeing that scene out of context? Because we don't know.
Now, that's a fair point.
The question that I'm asking is, by season end, will Caitlin Snow be bad guy?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%,
okay.
Yeah. She's the new Captain Cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, no ifs,
I
ands, or
have
buts.
no doubts. And I just like her as Killer Frost. I think is a more interesting character, and I think she's more fun to watch. So, like, I'm really hoping, I'm pulling for Killer Frost.
I will be completely surprised if that happens.
Will you really?
I will be
Because she's been an ally for so long?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. I think they're going to figure out some sort of way to have their Killer Frost cake
and freeze it too.
Their Killer Frost ice cream and still freeze it too.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. They're gonna want both. The Star Labs Scooby team decides to lock Wally up in their secret prison, and then Randolph and the whole group, or HR as Randolph, go to see the movie screening. And there, Cisco admits to Caitlin that he's seen her as Killer Frost. HR starts macking on Joe's date, and then, when everything is going all right, Shade attacks the movie screening, Barry goes off to fight the Shade, Alchemy speaks to Wally and carves his name into a window, but then, because the Shade is just the smoke monster in Lost, all the car lights in the park take him out and drop the Shade real quick. What did we think about Shade being taken down like a punk?
It was weird.
I didn't like it at all.
It was convenient to get him out of the way by the end of the episode.
You know what I like more than that?
No.
HR macking on Joe's lady.
I was going to say, I really like the character of Cecile. I think she feels like a really well-rounded human being. I like seeing her. I think her and Joe are super cute together. And that complication made for a really interesting scene. And I would have enjoyed more seeing the human drama than the smoke monster from Lost, like you said, drama.
Because that's what the Shade was in that scene. He was just the smoke monster from Lost. But I will tell you this is the episode that has turned my opinion on H.R. Wells.
Really?
Because now I feel like he's contributing. So him being goofy is not a detriment to the team.
He's also not just jokes anymore.
Yes.
And I get that in your first introductory episode, like you want to play up that aspect of his character.
You want to show how he's different.
Yeah, now you're seeing him contribute in ways that you're used to seeing the Wells characters contribute. So I think he feels like part of the gang. He feels like he deserves to be there.
Part of the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
We learn that Shade and Alchemy are connected, and Caitlin slowly reveals her powers to the team. And Barry has a Flashpoint chat with Caitlin where basically he's like, yo, you didn't have powers before. And Caitlin's like, you gave me powers, ah! Though the cops and everyone then decide to set a trap for Alchemy with Wally, where H.R. Wells then reveals that there are sentient gorillas on his Earth. Wally finally meets Dr. Alchemy and his cult. The Flash handcuffs Alchemy, but then the whole place starts shaking. And a fight happens, and all the police start dying. Wally picks up the Philosopher's Stone and is knocked away, and then suddenly Barry Allen is lifted up into the air, and it is revealed that Sabotage, the god of speed, is there, and he is Dr. Alchemy's boss, and it is finally confirmed that he is the person who killed Clarice in our episode 2. Sabotage, a Mark Waid Flash villain with a really dopey costume, looks freakishly awesome as this monster.
He like the Xbox version of that character looks really cool.
Yeah. I was completely blown away by Savitar
were you blindsided by Savitar?
I was blinded by the light.
Ooh.
I was blinded by the light, and I think that I was expecting Dr. Alchemy to be it.
Me too, for sure.
I like the change to Savitar. There were rumors that he was coming, and I guess I'd kind of just ignore them. I was like, no, he's not coming. Mm-hmm. Dr. Alchemy is it. And then, boom, here we go. Here's Savitar.
Yeah.
I like the changes they've made to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
He comes off as very threatening and very scary, more so than Zoom ever did.
Oh, yeah.
Which was always my problem with Zoom. I never thought Zoom was threatening enough. But Savitar seems really scary. I guess because maybe he's this concept. He's not a person.
He is. He's a god or a godlike being. I really enjoyed this fight scene. I thought they did a good job at highlighting, like, this is a
hell
speedster.
Of a cliffhanger, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. This is what speedsters do in battle that makes them different, and this is what magic powers can do. Although, when Wally, like, bends over to pick up the Philosopher's Stone, all I could think of was a scene in Harry Potter where he's, like, on the stairs trying to reach for the Philosopher's Stone.
I thought of Belle and Beauty and the Beast, like, going for the
rose?
Yeah, the rose.
The dying rose?
Yeah,
so they dragged that moment out. Like, you know he's gonna do it. You know he's gonna be like, just do it.
Yeah, 100%.
Come on. But that ending, this is probably the best cliffhanger Flash has ever done.
Ooh.
Or definitely this season.
Best this season. I don't know if ever. All right, so let's go into what rating we give this episode of The Flash called Shade. Ashley, overall thoughts of the episode, and then a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 5 lightning bolts, of course. How many lightning bolts would you give this episode?
I am only going to give this episode 2 lightning bolts.
Ooh, that's low.
Because I can't give him half. I really want to give it like 2.5, but that's like, that's really rude to do to lightning bolts.
You do not do that in the Speed Force.
You do not. I think overall it's a pretty weak episode. I don't think it furthers the plot a lot. I think it's a lot of setup for what's going to be coming next week.
Only the ending really furthers the plot.
But the Caitlin stuff too, and some of the HR stuff,
There's a lot of Caitlin stuff, yeah.
Is that stuff that's going to pay off down the line. It wasn't necessarily bad. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, except for that final fight scene. And Wally's still not Kid Flash yet, so I'm going to give it 2. How about you?
Overall, I was disappointed with this episode as well. But it wasn't the whole episode that I was disappointed with. It was pieces.
Yeah.
Like, I really thought that Shade was not handled well, and especially with the reveal of Savitar.
Who was handled so well.
Well, it kind of leans into what the Green Lantern movie is that you find out that, like, oh, so Shade or Dr. Alchemy don't matter. It's actually Savitar. So why do I care about these villains? And why have we been spending so much time with these villains? So I as well would give it 2. But that ending is fantastic. I have a feeling we're going into next week with a 4 a 4 lightning bolt or a 5 lightning bolt episode next week, because
that's a pretty strong prediction right out the gate.
That episode there has to start with Sabotage. I hope it starts with Sabotage.
There's cool stuff there.
Yeah, like, so if that's coming, like, man, we have a really awesome episode to look forward to next week.
Nice.
Now we're going to give our predictions for what we think is coming in the future of The Flash. Ashley, what do you think? Look into the future. Vibrate into the future. What's coming?
Well, I did talk a little bit earlier that I do think Caitlin Snow will ascend to her full Killer Frost glory by the end of the season. And I think they're gonna call her Killer Frost because that's something that we know from the Earth 2 episodes. But I think that before the season's over, maybe in the next couple episodes, depending on how things go, Caitlin is gonna earn the adjective at the front of her name. I think we're going to see her become a killer, which will be really interesting because that's something that Flash tends to shy away from, whereas Arrow really leans into that for some of their, like, good guy characters, arguably good guy characters. I think we're going to see Caitlin take a big step away from the character, the kind of quiet scientist that we know.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
What do you see vibing into the future?
I think Savitar is going to give a savage beat down to the Flash. More so than Zoom. I think he's going to just trash him. I think Wally's going to have his powers by next episode. I don't know when he'll be Kid Flash, but I think he has his powers next episode. And I'm very intrigued because I want to know what is going to be the relationship between Savitar and Eobard Thawne.
Ooh.
Okay? So
damn.
This is my prediction. My prediction is that Eobard Thawne is going to be an unwilling soldier to Savitar. I think that somewhere in this season, we will see a scene where Savitar shows up and his foot soldiers behind him are Matt Lesher, Eobard Thawne.
Yeah.
Zoom, Harrison Wells, Eobard Thawne.
Oh, that would be so cool!
Because I think, because you think about it from the other side, he's going to want to match. Because if we have Barry, we have Jesse, we have Wally. I think he's going to want to have one more.
3 speedsters.
3 speedsters or 3 speedsters. I think we will see Tom Cavanaugh in the Reverse Flash suit as his earlier version Harrison Wells, Eobard Thawne.
That would be so cool. I'd be so excited for that.
So make sure you let us know down in the comments whose theories you think are right, mine or hers.
And which one of us you think is going to die.
What does that mean?
Well, because the shade is coming, that's why all the lights are on.
Forget about that. Just click subscribe and make sure you check out our new weekly DC TV recap show where we break down all the other CW shows, and check out our Patreon where you get more exclusive stuff.
Oh no, I think the shade is coming.
What? Ah!